last year with both you and your rival, Mississippi State. So much national publicity. What did that do for your program going forward?
I think anytime you have a season like we did where you're in the mix, whether it be the SEC championship race or the BCS playoff discussion, anytime you're in those, it just gives validation that the process you're on to build a program is working. Obviously, you have to be consistent in years moving forward through recruiting and in performing on the field in a very difficult league. But it certainly gave both of us, some validation. And for us to do it on only our third year with 2 full recruiting cycles, I've said it before. I think we're ahead of schedule. But it's every year we've been here. I think it's been a bit easier to get into the recruiting battles for kids that they understand and know who Ole Miss is right now because of the performance that our kids have done over the past couple of years.
What's the appropriate response in the room this week to some of the postseason struggles that the teams had in the SEC? I mean, is it something that requires introspection, or do you guys just sort of write it off as a fluke?
Well, I can't speak for all the others that may have had lesser performances than what they expected. I can only focus on our deal. I think we played a really good football team that had an edge about them, and everything that could go wrong that day pretty much did. I also learned some things from my perspective that I would do different next time. You have to make decisions. I made a decision after our Egg Bowl win to go ahead and have surgery on 2 starting offensive linemen so that they may be back for spring. Looking back, I don't know that was the best idea. We got in the game and lost 2 more starters in the offensive line. I don't know that it would have made a difference in the outcome. TCU was better than us on that day for sure. But we'll certainly look at everything that we didn't like. When you have a month to prepare for teams, and certainly the banner that the SEC carries, you're going to get the best shot against really good football teams. I mean, I've said it before, I think the margin of difference in our league and others on a given Saturday is probably not that much. But over the course of a season, in this grind that we're in, I think is what we all say is what makes our league what it is, and we consider it to be the best in football. That certainly doesn't mean on a given Saturday there are others that can do that and can go beat you. They've shown that. So I think it's probably more of that than it is. But when you have to do it 10 weeks in a row, it's tough.
When you see the way you guys played in that game, the way Mississippi State played in their bowl game, Alabama in theirs, I mean, is that something that makes you pause and say, what happened here?
It does for me. Again, I don't comment on others. I wasn't in their preparation. I didn't see how their kids prepared or watch a lot of tape on their opponents. But for us, I knew going in we had our hands full. I thought Coach Patterson handled everything from the day that they did not make it into the playoff. I thought he handled it brilliantly, and he prepared his kids to play with an edge against what he would say is one of the better teams in the country all year long, particularly defensively. And he had his guys ready, and they got the momentum, and we never could get any of the momentum. So yeah, it makes me think about us that way, but I don't really look at it. Again, I think in one-game shots of the Power 5 conferences, there's a bunch of teams that can beat up on you.
Hugh, to that in the ball, I don't know if you saw Gary Patterson's comments since, but he was talking schematically in that game that he brought a lot of pressure at your tight end at a certain formation and things like that. Beyond just the schematics of that, we talked about technology on the sidelines and what kind of impact that could have. Do you think that is something that if you guys had more technology on the sidelines like the NFL, that you could have made an in-game adjustment quicker or easier in that situation? I'm for technology, yes, but we pretty much knew what they were doing after about a quarter, for sure. But their kids played better than ours that day. You've got to block them, even if you know what they're doing, and certainly
you gotta give your quarterback time to throw and all that, and we did none of it. But technology, anything that will help our game, you know, I'm for that. I'm really for, I wish we had a microphone in the quarterback's helmet. I really would like that. I don't know, when does that get shut off?
10 seconds.
10 seconds before the snap? That still would be good.
You
So
have already run the play right
yeah,
now.
so you can talk to him, it's 10 seconds on the play clock?
Yeah.
Till 10 seconds.
Till 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a 10 second.
I would love that. I mean, we can talk the whole time then.
Hugh, are you
Talking
concerned
to
that
the
the
play.
difference? Are you concerned that the difference in cost of attendance numbers will have a negative impact on recruiting?
Well, fortunately, we're in the top 15 in the nation, so it's not a big disparity between us and some of the others. I think we're maybe third or fourth in the conference. But one thing, if I understand that correct, it really doesn't matter what I think. That's way above coaches. I think that has to do with courts and legalities of you can't deny a kid the cost of attendance, whatever that is said to be. Do I personally, as a coach, wish everyone in our league it was all the same? Yes, I do, but I don't know that matters what I really think on that. I think that's a discussion that's going to happen above our level, but I think if you were to poll our coaches, most of us would say we wish it was all the same.
Were you surprised that you were so high? Were you
No,
surprised that Ole Miss was as high?
I was not surprised at all. I thought, you know, we kind of have an understanding of you know, what we're giving our kids and kind of where we would be. I think we always, as coaches, kind of have looked the last 3 or 4 years at really what is the cost of attendance. So I kind of had an idea. I actually thought we were going to be a little bit higher, only a couple $100 though. So you know, I wasn't surprised by that.
There's a lot of quarterback battles in the spring all over the conference, and not a lot of separation in a lot of places. I guess including y'all. What ultimately separates a guy? What do you look for that at least say, oh, that's my guy?
I think this off season is important to me. I'm looking to see how they lead in the locker room in the times through starting today when our kids came back to campus. You know, who are our team? Who's our team wanting to be around, wanting to throw and catch with? Who leads us? Who's making proper decisions? Who do we want to be the guy that leads our program? I think these next couple of months factor into it. If everything goes well there with all three, ultimately it comes to, you know, who can keep us out of negative situations and put points on the board the most efficiently and effectively.
How's